Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Well, today's Toast to the Arts show, we start off in France with songwriter-producer Alan-Simon, who's going to talk about Excalibur IV, The Dark Age of the Dragon.
I love it.
It's the fourth new studio album in the Excalibur Celtic Rock Opera series. It's got members of Jethro Tull, Uriah Heep, Curved Air, Supertramp.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is an incredible album. It's pretty epic, and it just takes you on this emotional journey. And Merlin.
It's got dragons.
We like dragons. That's a cool thing. And then from France, we're going to go to New Mexico, to southwest New Mexico, to chat with Victoria Chick. She's a contemporary figurative artist, and she's also an early 19th and 20th century print collector. And today she's going to talk about the life and work of artist and illustrator Leighton Fossum. And actually, the last time we saw Victoria, when we visited her in Silver City, we took a look at his work. And
I love his work.
I know. When someone gets so detailed like he does, he still has movement and light, which is really amazing to me.
His talent, especially the Western stuff. You just want to get on the horse and ride.
I like the buffalo, the bison that he had at the sunrise or sunset. That was beautiful. Then from New Mexico, we're hopping over to Hawaii.
Because why not?
Because we're going to go chat with our friend Tanya Ortega. She's back on the show. She is the founder of the National Parks Arts Foundation, also an incredible photographer, and always fun to have her on the show. And she's bringing a special guest on, acclaimed singer, songwriter, and recording artist Will Oldham. A lot of you know him as Bonnie Prince Billy. And he's going to talk about being the National Parks Arts Foundation Artist in Residence at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. I mean, this is like, who doesn't want to go stay, in Hawaii at the volcanoes, like for a month and
That's got to be
create,
amazing,
right? And so he's writing music and songs, and his wife is with him too, and she's an acclaimed fabric artist, and she works with quilts and embroidery, and so they're going to be putting a concert on at the end of January. I think it's the 26th. Where he's going to perform music and she's going to quilt, and they're going to show her quilting and embroidering while he performs, like up on a screen thing, so people can see. Yeah.
But I read she comes from Kentucky.
They both are Louisville.
Yeah, and remember the Kentucky and Springfield, they have the barn quilt tours.
Yeah.
So that's a thing out there, quilting and patterns and.
I know, and she does. She really kind of represents the people and the culture, and you listen to his music, and he does that in a way too.
That's really cool.
If it, he does it's. I don't like to pigeonhole anybody, right? And he's definitely one of those who cannot be pigeonholed with his music. But it's kind of Americana, a little bit of punk, and a little bit of everything in there.
That is Americana. Americans are mixed up of everything.
Well, everybody's got to have a little punk in there, too.
Well, yeah, because that's fun.
I know. And now, since we're doing Hawaii today, if we get to have enough time, I want to re-air Steve Schneickert's Hollywood History of Hawaii, because it's cool.
Yeah.
I know. So
I also want to ask Tanya if she knows how to do the hula.
I bet you she does.
I bet you she does.
I don't think there's anything she can't do. I mean, she's called us from the top of cell towers. She's called us from the volcanoes before. So this will be her second volcano call-in. So, I mean, only on Big Blend Radio, right?
I know, because who else would do that?
I know, but happy Friday, everybody, and Happy New Year. It is January 5th, 2018, our very first show of the year. Very exciting. And it's our Toast to the Arts show and National Parks. We like to do this every first Friday. And we're streaming live from Tucson, Arizona, home to Saguaro National Park and a very vibrant art community. And we're your hosts, Nancy Reed and Lisa Smith, the crazy mother-daughter travel team and publishers of two digital interactive magazines. We've got Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. The January-February issue is out now. It covers Europe from Prague to Berlin to France. We've got Chernobyl in there. I mean, we've got England. We've got America in there. We've got a lot of food, a lot of wine, and a lot of art. Tanya Ortega is featured in there talking about the benefits of artist in residence programs. And so a lot of art and music in that magazine. So check it out. You can go to blendradioandtv.com and see it there. Also, the other magazine is Parks and Travel Magazine, which covers parks, public lands, or gateway communities. And you can check that out at nationalparktraveling.com. The winter issue is up there, too. And we're working on our February one.
That's because our magazine's playing together.
That's right.
They're interactive.
They like to. Well, it's interactive because you can click through the websites, you can listen to radio interviews, you can watch videos, you can read articles, you can look at pictures. It's pretty darn cool.
And if you have a phone, you can take it to the bathroom with you.
Can you tell we're excited about 2018? I am. I'm ready for a new year. How about you? I mean,
we're going to do it again?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's first Friday. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And everyone, Sunday is our 11th anniversary of our Champagne Sunday show, so join us for that too.
Wow.
Okay, so before we get Alan-Simon on the show, I can't wait to chat with him. This album, like I said, Excalibur IV, The Dark Age of the Dragon, it's the fourth new studio album in the Celtic Rock Opera series, and we're going to take a listen to the eighth track from the album. It's called Dreamers.
Okay.
Well, it's perfect. It's
a
new year, and we need to, take action on our dreams, so take a listen, and then we'll take a chat with him.
Of the world, brandish the sword, say the magical words, time to find a new chord. Oh, dreamers, wake up the world, kill the demons by your wings unfurled, or your heart has been hurled. Now listen to the wonderful call. Oh, dreamers, know it's the same. Just be yourself and soon you'll dance in a magical land. Oh, up the world, brandish the sword, say the magical words, time to find a new chord.
That's it. I want to twirl my kilt around. Everybody, you're listening to Big Blend Radio's Toast of the Art Show with Nancy and Lisa, and you just heard Dreamers, the eighth track from Excalibur IV, The Dark Age of the Dragon. It's the fourth new studio album in the songwriter-producer Alan-Simon's Celtic Rock Opera series, and it follows from their gold and platinum selling original trilogy.
Wow.
Which is amazing, right? And it features members of Jethro Tull, Uriah Heep, Curved Air, like Sonia Christina was just on our show like last month. Supertramp, all kinds of amazing talent, but very excited to have Alan on the show today. Welcome, Alan.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, doing wonderful. How are you doing over in France? Thank you for calling in.
Oh, my big pleasure.
It's a beautiful, beautiful album. I feel like when you're listening to the whole thing, you'd go on this journey. It's emotional, but it's uplifting, and there's drama. And man, how long does it take to put something like that together? Because there's so much orchestration and the vocals, and it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, maybe a full life is necessary to do that.
Yeah, right.
Makes sense.
No, but really more or less 2 years of very intense job with many great musicians. I really enjoy to do it. I love Excalibur. I love this series of albums, really.
Well, that comes through.
Yeah, for sure. The energy it's electric.
It's amazing.
You know, I know it's a studio album, but it doesn't feel like a studio album. You feel like you're right within the performance and the show. What's it like on tour? Because I know you did this in 2016, and this year I believe you're touring again?
Yes, well, actually, we did 5 tours since 1999. But, you know, it's a big machine. It's so many people on stage and behind the stage, by the way. But for the 20th birthday of Excalibur, because it would be the 20th birthday in 2019, I have a big dream to come in America. So with my manager, we spoke with different promoters in America. So if some promoter listen now, please call us. No, we want to join America. I love your country, and I think there is a great audience to share this kind of project.
It's such a beautiful, you know, to me, the story of, I mean, when you get into Merlin, and when Nancy and I are big fans of just the whole story of I think you know, I liked playing Dreamers at the beginning of this because I think there's something magical and mystical, and when you bring these stories to life, whether it's through, you know, a written story, and I know that you're a novelist as well, and a film director, so, you know, songwriter, you know, when you put all of that together, there's this, I think we need this right now. The world feels a little jaded at times, and I think we need to remember to have that hope and that magic fairy dust in there. You've got fairies too.
True. It's our roots. I'm sorry for my French accent. I'm very French, so I know my English is quite special, but I hope you understood me. So, no, well, really, you know, I live in Bretagne, which is the west coast of France. And I am very close to one very famous forest, which is one of the main famous forests from Merlin. And it's part of our, you know, history in Brittany. And yes, the world need to realize, to not forget its roots, which the nature. You know, without nature, we are nothing. So, and if you really focus on this legend, you will realize that the quest, the main point on this King Arthur story, on this Merlin story, it's the universe, the harmony between the human and the nature. That's the main point.
And you know, that's so important right now, because we've gone to the brink of how much can we destroy of the earth and still live in it, on it. And be part of it, and you know, we're slowly killing off ourselves. So at some point, it's going to be the creative people who think beyond the normal day-to-day stuff that will solve that problem.
Yeah, we need people like you.
Okay, thank you. I try my best. I don't think I will save the world, unfortunately. I would be very happy if I can do something. But as a musician, as a songwriter, I just try to offer my best. To create at least some nice music, to make the people sensitive to some questions also through my lyrics. And yes, Excalibur is a strong point. It's a sword of the power, yes, but it's not on this way. It's also the sword of the reunion of the humans. around one point about something solid, something real, and we need that. Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting, when I look at your career, which is, everyone, I encourage you to, number one, go get the album. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on iTunes. Again, Excalibur IV, The Dark Age of the Dragon. But if you go to alan-simon-online.com, you can go to /ENG for English, HTML. Go on there, and your bio is just, when I read your career of what you've done, it seems that you work in projects and with a lot of people. It seems to be something that you're really good at, is getting people to unite, whether it's music or a film or like a compilation album, a concept album. I know, looking at the album that you did for, the charity dedicated to Earth, Gaia, which you did with, you had people like Midnight Oil on there and Justin Hayward, just looking at those kind of things. And then Excalibur now going, the fourth album, and you're like saying it's going 20 years. Like, I'm feeling younger now, Alan.
It was quite a long journey, because when I started, I was, to be honest, I was 15. So it's a long time ago when I started with my career. And now I'm only 53. It's not so much, I know, but sometimes I feel a bit old, like, oh gosh, because it's not so easy by this day. It's a fact. First of all, I will not speak about the musical industry, which is totally devastated, because internet, that's the point, but it's not so important for me. What's quite difficult now is to make focus the people on something more solid. You understand? The people, they jump from something to something in just 1 second like that. It's terrible. It reminds me when I was in America the first time, not so long time ago, it was in 2001, I think, in New York. And I was on the hotels, and I take the TV command just to watch TV, and I realized, my God, so many channels. How the people, they can watch all of this. It's terrible. How they can speak to each other after 200, 300 channels. Well... You understand what I mean?
We understand that. We lived in South Africa for many years, and I know that you did some music as well regarding to South Africa. And over there, I think we didn't even get TV for 20. It didn't even run for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it would divide like 2 or 3 channels at like from 4 in the afternoon. You get to watch it in Xhosa or Zulu or Afrikaans, or then it'll go to English. So you had to schedule when your language was, or if you learned all languages, then you could understand it. And it got, they got a little bit more before we left. And when we got here, we went to Guernsey, so we were near France. We were near you for a little bit, but in the Channel Islands. But we got here, and I remember waking up and turning the TV on, and all these crazy talk shows where people are yelling at each other on. And I remember being I was 19, and I looked at, Nancy, my mom, and I'm like, where did we just move to? I'm scared. I was really scared because everyone was yelling at each other, and we had just left a country in turmoil, where things were happening, and that scared me.
Oh, that's because you saw the Jerry Springer show.
Yeah, that scared me, but it is, I think, when you go to music and you go to a show or you turn on music and you listen to an album like yours, because to me, when I want to play all of it on the show, but I can't have time, but you want to sit and listen.
Great, anyway.
You want to hear the whole thing, and it's an experience, and it's an experience to do away from TV, unless we get to watch your concert on TV. That's different. But, I think we need these breaks where we can go to our senses, and I think that's what your album to me is. It brings us back to our different feelings and senses.
Well, I think it lets you imagine. Like, I could totally paint a picture to that song easily. When you're watching television, you're kind of locked into somebody else's thing for a while. But when you're listening to music, you can be free of somebody else's thing, and it lets you do something else.
It's true.
Yeah. I like both. I mean, I like a lot of television, especially movies and documentaries. But there's times when you're just listening, that your mind is free to imagine your own pictures to the music. I like that.
That's definitely your album. Definitely. Alan, tell us a little bit about all the people you worked with, because Sonia Christina, she was on our show in December, and we were talking. Yes, she was on our show and talking about her album Anthology, and we played The Passion on there because it's she did such a beautiful version of that, and we saw, just so beautiful. Tell us a little bit about, getting everyone together. Are they the same people through the years, or have you changed up people?
Well, no, all these people, are very attracted also by this energy, this magic around Excalibur. So all these people came very kindly, and they give their energy, their faith, their love through these songs. But I try always to create songs appropriate to each voice, to each singer. Sonia has a very special voice, for example, very sensitive lady, and I think The Passion is perfect for her. And I'm quite proud to hear that many people enjoy this song. And and when I work with, by example, in the past, I was working with John Anderson from Yes, the singer from Yes. And John, I wrote a song called The Sickle of Life, and Sickle of Life was really appropriate to his voice. He has such deep voice, but very strong at the same time. And for each singer, it's very important to be at the place of the singer, to think about him, about his way, his approach, his philosophy. It's difficult to pretend to propose a song to someone which will be totally disconnected with the song. It can work, it can be interesting, but it's not so easy. So it's important to feel really the soul of the each person. It's not a free act. It's very important when you wrote a song. It's not only some words. It's not only some music. It's much more than this. It's an act of love on some way. Well, I believe in that.
So this is like casting for a movie, getting the right actor for the right piece.
Absolutely.
That part. Yeah. Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Why today? By example, I will speak about something which is very famous now. Everyone speaks about Star Wars, but why the first trilogy of Star Wars was so good? Because technology. No. Because they did a big job that was very difficult for them. But because simply these actors, Hamill, Carey, and of course Harrison Ford, were just perfect for that, and it was credible. Every good movie, it works because the people are really credible inside. And when you compose an album from the musician to the studio recording to the voice, every single detail is extremely important, including, of course, the artwork.
And it has to be believable.
Yeah.
And Star Wars was very believable. I mean, it's totally not true.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, but it's not. But it was believable. And I think if you can't, whether it's a book or it's a painting or it's music or it's a film, if it isn't believable, then it's not successful.
Absolutely. And when this crazy teams from California create Star Wars at the beginning, no one was trust. The movie industry say no, thank you very much, no, it's crazy, and they have paid, they have used all their money. It's crazy, but now it's like one of the most biggest successful in the cinema industry, and there is plenty of story like that. When the Beatles start, no one was believing the Beatles, and as you remember, the Beatles came very late in America, very late.
That's true.
To perform.
It's again. I'm glad we played Dreamers at the beginning because I think it's that you've got to stick to who you are as an artist and kind of not listen to the hoopla. You know what I mean? You have to go with the purity of what your creativity is, right? And even if people don't see that vision yet, you as a creative person have to still put it out there, right? Otherwise, artists get miserable, man, if you can't create.
Of course, it's the end for us. But, for me, what is very important also, one point which is very, very important, it's, I don't know how to say it with my great English, it's not really for me. It's the credibility, the human credibility. I mean, I don't like at all, I will be honest with you, I don't like at all, I even hate, I'm uncomfortable when I met, and I will not say any names, of course, an artist, famous singer, who pretend to send some great message, some good energy, but in the reality, he is not a nice man. That's what happened to me a few times, and I was very disappointed. What I want to say by that, it's very important to not pretend something, but to be really. And for me, when you are a singer, when you are a songwriter or whatever musician, you really should be what you wrote, what you say, what you send to the audience. It should be really a big part of you. If it's only a business, well, it's not only very sad, but it's very dangerous for our society, for our world, because it means that the world will be fake very quickly. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's why advertising jingles are so lame. Because they're almost like nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
But they're just simple, go for it, get it done, because you, as an artist, you're not going to make a jingle. Sorry, people who make jingles, but it's like, when you hear the music to some ads, it's really like, really?
But it's about being authentic and real.
Because I don't think they care about the product.
I think it's about anything you do in business.
Yeah.
Right now,
absolutely.
I think Nancy and I have been through, between Christmas and now, 3 major corporations that say they're doing this and doing that. The CEOs on TV everywhere saying how they take care of their people, but they don't take care of their clients, and it's absolutely amazing. There's nowhere to go because there are these huge corporations. True. But I wanted to say, because you were talking about being fake, the song "I Will Be Forever," you take that on. It's like you say this, and that it's about you're fake and you're not. I'm true, you're not. You know what I mean? It's like gives you that feeling of this is that are you real or not? I'm being real about things. Are you?
Yeah, well, at least to try our best. It's already something. We have to start by that. But about this song, singing by Michael Sadler from Saga. Michael, when I was in contact with him the first time, I think he lives in America, and he called me and he said, "Oh, okay, I may be interesting, but first of all, of course, send me the songs." And he was very excited by the songs. And then I said to him, "Oh, Michael, you will be happy to join us on tour? We have a big, massive tour on the arenas in Germany during December 2016. It's 14 big show." I said, "Yes, I want to come." So he joined us, but he became very quickly a very, very good friend. He was totally inside the songs, and I was extremely impressed by this man. The coherency between the man and the singer. It's the same person. It's not 2 persons. It's not a businessman and from the music industry and a man. No, it's the same person. And I like that. I need that to going on myself.
He sings from his heart. That's what I'm saying. When you're listening to the song, you're like, "Oh, I feel you. I know how you feel." I'm with you. I know. I've been there. The other song, I wanted to bring this up because I thought this was so interesting. Nancy and I have done, we lived in England, and we've also, we've been around on the Celtic world a little bit with some friends in the Scottish Highland Games and things that happen over here. So there's a lot of Celtic festivals here, and so I'm just saying, everybody out there in that world, hello, Excalibur should be part of that.
Ooh, that's a great
I'm just saying,
idea.
and there's 2 different seasons of Scottish Highland Games and Celtic tour, spring, and then in the fall, in the autumn, there's 2 different seasons of it that happen out in this country, and so I'm just thinking that would be amazing. But the song and I learned a little bit about this from some friends of ours, Highland Waves, a Celtic band. They're from, he's from Glasgow originally, Brian Caldwell, but the New Times has this Middle Eastern sound to it, and I was like, oh, this is so important because that goes back to the roots of some of the instruments, like, that Celtic music has actually comes from the Middle East, right?
Yeah, it's true. The Celts come, the origin of the Celts is quite interesting because thanks to the archaeologue, we know now that the Celts come from part from India and part from not so far from China, and it's different clans which was working together and joined and became only one. Sorry, and since that started 3,000 years ago, it's a long story, and the Celts become really a fascinating people. And when Roma was become famous, of course, a huge empire of Roma, they was absolutely, worried about the Celts because they knew that we was a very strong, people. And but it's true. The origin of the Celt is just a fascinating story, and it's very linked with art, with the harmony of the nature. It's a long journey. It's a bit difficult to explain you with my great English, and we need a lot of time. But I live in a really pure Celtic land now, still today. A few meters from my house, there is a huge forest, and we trust in the trees. We trust in birds, in everything. It's quite important for us. But we are also modern people. I have the city very close to me. I love to go in restaurant, in cinema. I don't live in an Indian teepee. But what I mean is, I need my land. I need to feel the land.
Yeah.
It's so important, It's so important to be from somewhere. And there is so many people that don't know where they come from now. It's not so easy, when you don't have a family, when you don't have some roots. How you want build yourself? It's difficult. So we are in a world in only one big village. You can call this village the planet Earth. It's like that, and we are closer and closer thanks to the new technology, which damaging on some point, good on other point. We have to find our balance. We are on the way to do it. I think so. It will take a lot of times again. And every country has its part of responsibilities, every culture. And the Celt have an interesting responsibility because the Celt is one of the most ancient people, so, yeah.
Yeah, they are. Well, everybody, when you go and you start to look at everyone's names and you start to find, this is from this clan over here, and you start to see, you start to realize we're all connected in some way. And I find it amazing when you're talking about being from France. A lot of people wouldn't think that, Celtic in France. But listening to you talk about our connection to the earth and nature and humanity, that community, that global village that we are, I would like to sit down when we get to France at some point. I want to sit down with you and our friend Pierre Ben-Susan. He comes on our show. I don't know if you know him, the guitarist.
Yes, I know him. He's a great guitarist. I love this man. I like this man. His music is fantastic. He's a very talented guitarist. Of course, I know since a long time. Yeah.
I just had a feeling. I was like, you both have that same message, and I was like, wow. I wish Pierre was on here to talk. You're both.
Well, I don't know him personally. I never met him. I saw him once on live show. I think it was in Paris, if I remember well. Maybe 20 years ago, so a long time ago. But I still to have some LPs, some vinyls of Pierre. And it's a very talented guy. Yes.
Yeah, no, because whenever we're on the show, it ends up being about whenever he comes on our show, we talk about that connectivity, what you're talking about, that authenticity, that real, that heart, and it's just, as you're talking, I'm like, wow, I want to go to France so we can be like you.
Welcome in France. All America, please come in France. Join us.
Yes, I think everyone can use a little France in their life.
Well,
but don't go in any place in France. Sorry, don't go in any place. Come in Bretagne. Bretagne is the West Coast. Paris is great. I love to go in Paris. I have some nice place where I go, some nice restaurant, good friends. It's a great cultural life, and it's a beautiful city. Yes, it is. But if you take a train from Paris, just 2 hours, and you go in Nantes or in Rennes, which is the most biggest city in Brittany, and then you rent a car and you go in the countryside, you will be stomach. It's just amazing places. And I'm a bit sad that I so many American people coming in France, and they go mainly in Paris or in the south, which is beautiful, of course. They go in Nice, in Cannes, or whatever. But Brittany, the west coast of France, again, it's beautiful. Of course, Americans know mainly Normandy because you was with the Russians, the hero of the last war. But if you go a little bit down, you have this little place called Bretagne, and you will be surprised.
I love that. And I know a lot of our travel writers for the magazine go to the south of France. We've got Bandol and Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, close.
I'm getting there. I'm trying to learn more and more about it. But it just is this. I think it's so refreshing for us to remember about the good qualities of life, and that we're here to enjoy it and do good. So I really appreciate that, and then the natural aspect, and it comes through in your music. The other thing I noticed going through the album and just listening and knowing that you have this amazing, cast of musicians, it seems that the different songs that, and I don't have the notes of who did what. I just sat and listened. That's what I do. I just sit and listen. But it seemed that certain songs that I was like, okay, well, this must be this person over here, because it feels like when they're playing that they're allowed to be who they are and their style with the song. You know what I mean? So, whereas the album flows, but each person, you can hear in the guitar work that, okay, this is a little different, like You Don't Know, that song. There's this guitar run, I'm like, okay, like I know that sound. Like there's certain, does that make sense?
Yeah.
You recognize the musicians through
their
signature style, but sometimes with albums like this, people don't allow that to happen, and you do.
Yeah, well, thank you. But it's true that behind myself there is also many great musicians, more or less famous, and some are very famous, some are not, but it's not important for me. I mean, what is important is to get the right musician. And I have a great guitarist called Paolo Ballardini. It's an Italian guy, little fame in Italy, but not so much, but he's just amazing. And I have another great guitarist that everyone knows in America, which is Martin Barr from Jet Fertile.
Yeah.
And Martin and Paolo became huge, good friends during these tours. They never worked before together before that, and now they are very good friends. Well, the magic of Excalibur, it's like a musical round table. So I'm very glad to guest many musicians, many artists around this musical table, round table, say, hey, guys, come on. Now, let's give you best, and yes, come together. Yep.
That's why I think it flows. The very last song, is it Dun Angus 2? I don't know how to pronounce half of anything.
Yeah, it's correct. Dun Angus.
Yeah. So that song, when I start listening to her voice, and it's like, whoa, it's nice and low. And the next thing you know, her voice, and I want to know who's singing this, because this is incredible. I mean, that's like this epic finale, and you're just like, this isn't, where does that power come from? And so beautiful and pure and
it's
soft
a Spanish
at the
lady.
same time.
A Spanish lady, yes, called Mate It Was. She's part of a duet called F&Tal. His husband is quite famous in Europe because he's one of the singers of the Kelly family. She's amazing. She comes really from classic, as you can imagine, with such a big voice. She has studied classic during a long time. She sang some famous pieces, from the classic side. But she gave a lot of emotion. And it's funny because we finished the show, the live show, the last tour was finished by these songs, by these instrumental songs. And the power of Mate was so huge that I saw every night, including myself, and I was trying to dissimulate that, but I was so many people with some tears because it was like, wow.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Yeah.
She's really got an amazing voice, and then you've got there is someone, and it seems so young and innocent, that song.
Yes. She's a very pure young lady. His name is Siobhan Owen. She's from Wales. I have a little story about Siobhan because a few years ago I created another rock opera musical about Tristan and Isolde. And I was looking to find I was needed to be Isolde, a very innocent lady with an amazing voice like an angel, but able also to play Celtic harp, and which also should be beautiful ladies. So it's not so simple to find but to find this ideal. And I was looking, and was great ladies, but not an half young, or not an half this voice and this or that, don't play the harp, or say, oh no, where I will find this pure jewel. And finally on internet, I typed angel voice Celtic harp, just that. And I saw a photo of a beautiful young lady. Say, oh no, she's too beautiful. I'm sure she don't think so well, or something like that. Okay, let's listen. I listened it, and it was like I was just, my God, his voice. And so I immediately sent a little email to this young lady. She did not know me. And she replied to me very, very sweetly, very kindly. She said, oh, thank you, sir, but I am in university now, and I live in Australia. It's very far from Europe. And, I replied immediately, I say, okay, not a problem. I will pay you the flight ticket. Don't worry about this. But please come in studio with me. I want to record you. And she asked the authorization to the teacher, and they say yes, and to his parents, because she was only 19. And everyone now loves this lady in Brittany, and I'm proud if I have contributed a little bit to his success. And she's really, I hope the world will discover this artist, because she's a pure jewel, really, Siobhan Owen, yes.
Wow, it's so interesting because that you put her, she's so pure, like I said, this is, like you said, a little angel. And then all of a sudden you go to that epic, closing, and you're like, wow, it is like this roller coaster, yet, this whole album. But also, there were some things that really surprised me too. Behind the Mist. This felt Jethro Tull to me a little bit, and then it's like jazz in there. It's very jazzy, and it's bluesy, and it's sexy, and it's just like, yes, something's going on.
Yeah, well, when you work with such great musicians as Martin Barr from Just Virtual or Johnny Well from Supertramp, just to name these two guys and all my band, you think, oh, okay, I have to create something for them, something which they can express really, the beauty of their instrument. So to leave space, not only singers, but so that's why I create this piece, Behind the Mist. And I say to them, okay, now from bar 24 to bar 48, John, you have wild card. Please, be in. And the guys played inside. So it was more the mood of the collaboration. And we have enjoyed to do that, yes.
I love that. I love that song. It's I don't know, you've got a little bit of everything, even though it's Celtic, but again, it's like one of the most ancient civilizations in the world. Everybody's part of that. It's, until you get here and you have the Native American culture, and that's a little different too. And I'd love to see someone put the two together, because some of the rhythms, some of the drumming rhythms are very similar.
You're right.
I was just thinking that,
True.
would you if you had a choice and you were interested in doing something really different now from what you've been doing, would you consider doing like a rock opera about space, although in a way that's already right there for you, or a Western, like a cowboy and Indian thing? That'd be really interesting.
Well, it's difficult. I would like to do the both.
Okay, cool.
Well, no, I like, what you said before. It's a great idea. I think between the native Indian and Celtic, there is many bridge. So there is for sure a great concept album to do around this. Oh, it's a good idea. I stole your idea now. I noticed on paper.
Wow.
Oh,
cool.
I would be happy to. This is a very strong idea, strong concept. Yeah.
Okay, before you go, because I know you're over in France there, but and we have to play more music. But you worked with Jeremy Spencer, and I'm a big fan of old school Fleetwood Mac, the original days where Peter Green was part of it, and Mick Fleetwood, and John Mayall, and to me there was just this. I think the band transformed in so many ways, and it's different. It's not better or worse or anything like that, but the very beginning, and Jeremy Spencer is like, what happened to him? And then I saw that you worked with him, and that's so exciting because I think he's a brilliant guitarist.
Yeah, he's not only a brilliant guitarist; he's also a brilliant singer. I did a concert. I did a concert. 2 years ago in my town in Nantes, in Brittany, when it was an earthquake in Nepal, in Himalaya, with 10,000 people died. You remember probably in April. Yeah. It was very damaging. So we did a support concert, and I did a few tracks of Excalibur. And I called Jeremy and I said, "Hey, Jeremy, you are in England now, no? So could you join me and play a few old numbers of Fleetwood Mac? Some bluesy stuff with me. I will play the harmonica. You will be on guitars." And he was a bit scary. He said, No, I can't do that. I can't do that. I said, "Yes, you do, because you still play so well and you sing well. Please join." So finally he came, and it was 2,000 people there. It was full, and people was really stomach. It was a big silence when he was growing, give his feels was really great. And he's a very solid artist. And because you spoke also about Fleetwood Mac, I have worked a little bit with Mick Fleetwood. Awesome. And we did some stuff on Gaia and on Excalibur IV. And Mick is an amazing guy, so fun, so inside, always smiling, and he's a super drummer. And everyone spoke a lot about Linsley, about Stevie, which two amazing artists. Of course they are just great. But they forget sometimes, for me, too much Mick Fleetwood. He's really a big spirit of Fleetwood Mac, with John McVie, of course.
Oh yeah, John McVie too is like one of the best bass players, but Mick Fleetwood, I'm a huge fan of his because he brings in world music, and he doesn't just stick with the typical, here's my drumstick, I'm going to play with a gong, I'm going to play with African drums. And I think you're absolutely right. I think he's underappreciated because, I know Paul Simon went to Africa, and but really Mick Fleetwood did that years ago, and he's like the Ry Cooder of drums. Like Ry Cooder went around the world in Cuba and all these places, but Mick Fleetwood did the same thing. I wish the two of them would work together, actually. I know that Ry Cooder's son is an incredible drummer, too, percussion player. But if Mick Fleetwood went to Cuba, he went everywhere, bringing in these sounds and trying to get people to understand the different rhythms of the world and how we're all united in that, too. And nobody talks about that ever. I'm so glad you brought that up.
It's true. And in plus, he's not an egocentric guy. He's a lovely man, very simple, very gentle, always friendly, a good comrade. And yes, I like this man. From time to time we exchange some email. I hope to see him again in America the next time. But yeah, lovely.
If you see him, you give him a hug for me because I think he rocks. He does.
I will.
Alan, thank you so much for joining us, and
we
want you here. We want you here in America, and if not, we'll come to France.
I promise to you, I will come soon in America. I have some projects in America, so I hope to be very soon. And I love your great country, so please give you all your best. You have a big role to do now in the world, as you know. We need everyone, and we need your good energy, and music is one of the key.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Sure.
And everyone, again, we're going to play The New Times because I feel like it's kind of our conversation of unity, and I think we should play that. The New Times, but everyone, again, the album is Excalibur IV, The Dark Age of the Dragon. We all like dragons. And go get it on Amazon, iTunes, but also go to alan-simononline.com. Thank you so much, Alan. You take care.
Oh, thank you very much. Much love to all of you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. May it be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Here it is, everybody, The New Times, because this is just amazing. Just listen and enjoy.
I can feel the sunrise in your heart. If you see without eyes, nothing low, nothing sad, nothing will divide. I believe you can change in your mind. There will be a new world, new mankind. I believe you can change in your mind. There will be a new world, new mankind. I believe you can change in your mind. There will be a new world, new mankind. I believe you can change in your mind. There will be a new world, new mankind.
Okay, so Victoria got caught off, and we're going to get her back.
She's out west.
Yeah, she's out west, and things happen, but we got caught up. I think she's there now, but anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Well, oh, you're there. So everybody, meet Victoria Chick if you haven't met her before. She's a contemporary figurative artist and an early 19th, 20th century print collector. And she's back on Big Blend Radio today, and I'm glad you're here. Welcome to our first show of the year.
It was kind of exciting there.
I know.
I was listening to the music, and all of a sudden we got cut off. And when I called back, I couldn't get anything. So anyway, I tried again, and here we are.
Can I blame it on Microsoft?
Can I blame it?
Well, you can blame it on anything you want, I guess.
Well, we have
including
three companies that we really feel somebody needs to
I
look
think we're
at.
going to do a radio show soon on our technical issues. It's like right before Christmas, we're going to deliver 3 dramas to you, all in a nice little basket.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that, but I'm kidding around. But it's really good to have you back on the show. Everyone, Victoria is based in Silver City, New Mexico, an incredible art community. It's in southwest New Mexico, so check it out on your road trips. But also go to her website, victoriachick.com, and also read her articles. Go to blendradioandtv.com, just type in Victoria, and also nationalparktraveling.com. And excited, your miniature art, your portraiture painting articles in the winter 2018 issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. Okay, so we put that up on the website. I know you said that miniature things are like really popular, but what's going on with that? Because that seems to be going around on social media. Like, I don't know what it is, but what is with the portrait miniature thing? I put it up once and things go crazy. Why? It's a miniature thing.
I don't know. All it takes is one person with a large following to click on it, and pass it along, and then it's exponentially it goes out. But it's an interesting topic. Once people's attention are drawn to it, most people have not even heard of these things before.
Right. Yeah.
So I can see where the internet would be, particularly Facebook, would be a good way to spread the information about portrait miniatures.
But it went off on its own little tangent. That's went off.
It's speed dating in history.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's speed dating.
The miniature portraiture. Yeah, because that's how people used to share their photos and everything.
Here's a photo of my daughter,
painting.
And you're married.
I'll give you a cow if you like her. Yeah. Take her off my hands. Boy.
Now we're just going to send an image over the internet. I mean, you're going to take a picture, a little snapshot with your phone. It's going to look really nice, and off it goes into the atmosphere.
And then you'll get married online, and then when you move in, you'll find out you just married a woman.
Or a hologram. Or a man.
Or
dog.
A dog.
Okay.
Now.
All right. Before we get too carried away, I want to talk about Leighton Fossum, who is your latest topic, which will be in the spring issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. And I did some research on him, and it doesn't seem like he's had this amazing career, but like more needs to be out there about him. I think he's. I'm really glad you're bringing him up because I know the last time we saw you in Silver City, which was a long time ago, in Silver City, we saw you. No, it's been too long since we've seen you in person, but it was a long time ago since we've been in Silver City, and we need to change that. And we have plans for that, by the way.
Good.
Yeah. There's things happening, everybody, in the new year here, 2018.
We're going to shake it up.
We're shaking some things up because we're good at it. But,
yeah, we are.
When we came out and we saw you and we were looking at his art, and I still like even looking at the images on your article, and everyone, if you go to blendradioandtv.com, you'll see the article there, Leighton Fossum. But looking at his art, like I was telling Nancy this at the beginning, I know he's a fine artist and he's an illustrator, and sometimes with illustrators there's a very scientific thing that's going on. It's very like 100% realism, and everything's going to be exactly as it is. But he has this lighting and movement to his work that I think is absolutely incredible for the amount of detail he puts in.
Well, yeah, detail sometimes really cuts down on animation in a picture, I think. But I mean, you're right. Illustrators have this fantastic training. I mean, people don't. I don't think they're like Rodney Dangerfield. They don't get the respect they deserve, because they are really wonderful artists. They are great observers. A lot of their style can depend on who they mostly illustrate for, because they're working on commissions usually. They're not doing work and hoping it sells. So a lot of their work is driven by the marking for. Fossum spent a lot of his time in Minneapolis being a commercial illustrator. And I think during that time, he really honed his skills. He went to the Minneapolis Art Institute. He went for a while to the Art Students League in New York, which is really common for artists to do. And then he just sort of buckled down and started being a commercial illustrator, and he was successful at it. The way I know about him is kind of an interesting story, I think, because I had never heard of his name. I mean, we know about Norman Rockwell and other really, famous, a handful of maybe famous illustrators. Fossum I had never heard about. And he died in 2011, and the man who owned the art gallery, my art dealer, was asked by the people who he lived with to sell his artwork because he owed them money, and they went to the court. They got permission to sell his work to cover his debts. So my art dealer wound up with all this work, and I was really blown away when I saw it in back up in his art gallery, because it was such quality. Yes, he does a lot of detail, even though he became a fine artist after he retired and he moved to the Southwest. But he just roamed the Southwest. He was in love with cowboys. He really was crazy about horses. He liked the landscape. He liked everything about it. And he had volumes and volumes of sketchbooks where he was recording everything he saw. And he was into detail. And when you look at his paintings, they might appear to be oil paintings at first, or maybe acrylic, but he worked mostly in a material called casein, just has a sort of a milk base to it. And he used ink, sometimes pencil, and he would do the basic painting, and then he would go over it with these little teeny lines, and create this visual texture that was so believable. I mean, you looked at the painting and you saw an object that he had painted, and the texture on it, if you knew that if you touched it, you knew how it would feel in real life. If it was a brick, or if it was grass, or if it was leather, he was remarkable in his ability to do that.
That's attention to detail. One of the paintings that I really like is one with the bull in it, and it's just standing there looking at you. And Lisa and I have done enough hiking where there's cattle, and we know that head drop and that look of
what you doing?
That look of sometimes cattle, when they look at you, they can make you feel like you're the dumbest thing that ever walked the earth. They really. My grandmother used to say the only difference between a woman, that's funny, chewing gum, and a cow is the intelligent look on the cow. And and it always reminds me, and that's the first thing I saw when I saw that painting, because the cows they drop their head just enough to let you know they're looking at you like you're looking at them, and they have this kind of, they have soft eyes, but there's a kind of look where they just like, really, are you serious? And he got that in that painting.
He did. he really enjoyed it. There were so many paintings that he did, and these paintings are still for sale. My art dealer moved to Georgia, and took the paintings with him, and they're still out there. I don't think he hasn't set up a art gallery down in Georgia. He's just painting, so he's kind of more like a storage facility right now for Fossum's paintings. But
wow.
Anyway,
how interesting. I mean, when you think about it, it's interesting how. Yeah, because let's just kind of go back up a bit, because he came from Minnesota, right? And so then, like, he was doing a different kind of career until when he moved out west. Because did he live in Silver City, or was he in New Mexico?
No, he lived in Arizona for a short period of time, and he had art dealers over in the Tucson area. Then he moved over to New Mexico, and he lived, I believe, in Lordsburg area. Or between Lordsburg and Deming, and which is down by I-10. It's fairly close to the Mexican border. And he has roamed all over the place. Went to all these horse events, and so he really got a lot of background material. And he made friends with the cowboys. I don't think he ever was a horseback rider himself or a cowboy himself. I think he was. By the time he was in New Mexico, he was quite a bit older and probably wasn't participating in that except as an observer. But he had these friends, and he must have listened to some great stories, because from about horse experiences and close calls and things like that would happen in the life of a person who was out on a ranch all the time. Because his paintings have this kind of storytelling aspect to them. So I said that you see, in a lot of his paintings, you see that a humorous incident is about to happen.
Yeah.
or maybe funny. Not so humorous, depending on your point of view. But like there's that one painting where he calls it Dust Devil. And way in the distance, in the foreground, there's a cowboy on a horse, and above his head is a tumbleweed, almost in the face of the viewer, and it's remarkably detailed. But in the distance, you can see what caused it, and that's a dust devil, which is really, really common around here.
Now, that dust devil looks like a woman to me.
Well,
it does. When I first looked at it, I'm like, oh, he made it into a woman. And I'm like, no, it's just me. But I looked at it, and I keep looking at it, go further away, and looking at it, but it kind of looks like a woman. I'm not going to say who, but it looks like a...
you're getting specific.
It looks like a woman. You got to go look at it. And tell
Any woman in particular?
Yeah, it is somebody in particular. And if you go look at it, you can just.
I'm going to go look. Everybody, just go to blendradioandtv.com and just type in Leighton, Leighton, just so. I'm going to look at.
And see if you don't think it looks like a woman and who you think it is. It can be.
I think what you should do in your next magazine, when you put that article in, you ought to have a contest of name the Dust Devil.
It looks like a woman. I'm like, he's calling women devils.
Well, look, and then there's I like the hooties in the background, because it's almost like the one is waving or giving the bird.
But doesn't it look like a woman to you? I see a woman's like face and body.
See, I told you never know what happens on shows with Victoria.
I was looked at like, hey man, that's cool. I want to do paintings where you make the clouds into people that people know.
But that's big.
I'm going to remind you. I'm going to remind you of this conversation the next time we talk about you can't read too much into an artist's work.
Okay, is that our next topic?
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it. You can read in what you want. Doesn't make you right.
It always helps if you have a glass of wine, and that's why wine is always at art receptions. But now I think to me it's interesting because people capture what they capture, and that is the beauty of art. I think part of the role of art is to, you could be, here's my message, but I think that one of the most important things is to get the other person that's viewing or listening or watching, whatever it is, to think for themselves. Uh-oh.
Yes, and you Fossum has stimulated conversation here, so that's good. That's
you
good.
Go, Fossum. No, but I love that, and I love the buffalo, though. I really do, because, looking at that, it just puts you there, and again, like, he just has that, I don't know, he just really puts you there, but it's still got that, like, I'm not copying a photograph, because so many realists
because it does come out like
do this photographic thing where
the hard edge versus
and he has a softness to it. In your article, you talk about these panels that I can't pronounce, like what?
Gesso
panels.
Yeah,
gesso.
I just hey, I'm just making sure I don't.
He painted on the panels he used were masonite, and he would use masonite generally has a smooth side and a kind of a mechanical rough side.
Yeah.
He would use the smooth side, and then he would put gesso on it to separate the paint from the dark area, and probably he had to use untempered masonite. He didn't have any chemical on it to interfere with the paint.
But doesn't that warp? I know maybe it was just because we were living in Africa and on the equator at the time. But
I tried everything. I did my own gessoed panels on the smooth side and the rough side, and then I stretched my own canvas and put rabbit glue on them and
you used rabbit glue?
Yeah, and then sizing or whatever they call it, and then putting gesso on the canvas, and humidity is a big bummer.
It's a very hard thing. Yeah, one of the things that people will do with panels like that, they will what they call cradle the panel, and they'll take like a piece of like a 1 by or 1/2 by 1 inch or 2 inches piece of pine and just glue them onto the back, so that prevents them from warping. Yeah. But I've lived in humid areas where if you were going to use a panel, you would have to do that.
Yeah,
right now, there's not much humidity, so.
We're in Tucson, so we don't have any.
Well, we do in the summer. It's coming. But okay, I just want to go back to the cow. Like the cow is standing outside, or the bull. He's standing outside an old gas pump, and this is so interesting because he's got this old adobe building. Like this is so Southwestern. But this pump, like, basically, I would say it's not been used because there's green around it. So this is, again, like an artist thinking. He's telling you of the times. Like, this used to be something and now it's gone, or, it's like it's abandoned. It's like, here it is, but a cow is taken over, or cattle.
And looking at you going, seriously, you did this?
He's just looking out. He's looking out.
Yeah.
He's looking at it. He's like, what the hell? No, but that's what's so neat.
Yeah.
And then the other
man comes and goes, but the cow remains forever, or something like that. The steer, I think it's a steer. The steer remains.
Yeah. He's just looking out like this is mine now. He's taking claim. But there's the one with the horse, because I know he's big into horses. But there's the one of the horse, and there's like agriculture going on in the background, and it almost looks like a New England thing with the fall colors. And this horse is all prim and proper. Yeah, what's that about? Because the horse, I'm like, is that a race horse? Because then the horse has like bigger hooves.
It's a draft horse. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he did that. He was still thinking back to his roots in Minnesota, because that background is pretty typical Southern Minnesota. And although he was from Northern Minnesota, but Minneapolis on south is the vegetation and stuff is more agricultural rather than forest. So I think he was harkening back to that. I bought that painting because it reminded me of Missouri, where I came from. And I was born in Minnesota, so there was some connection there too. But the horse is leading the guy, I think, in that painting.
Yeah. See, that's what's funny. But I mean, that happens. It's like, dogs take people for walks. People don't take dogs for walks.
Oh no, the dogs are totally taking people
even if it's
for
a yapper, they can go by it.
The little ones are the worst, because they see another person and they're halfway across the street by the time the person that's holding the leash is like, uh-oh.
And it's either like grab something, it's either humping something, biting something, or yapping at something. Okay, nice conversation. Nice conversation. But that's, again, he's got this humor of like telling the story, like you're saying. That's what's so cool about this. It's like it puts you there. But okay, so that sky in the painting reminds me of Silver City skies too. So you got that too, that connection as well, because you have some epic skies, like the way the clouds move in your area.
Well, I don't know. I think when I look at his work, I see things that I can recognize because I've had experience in an agricultural area or experience with horses, and so I pick up things that somebody who doesn't have those experiences may miss. However, they're going to see something else, and I think one thing about Fossum's work, if you saw his work on the cover of a magazine, say like a Norman Rockwell cover, I mean, there's enough going on that people, the average person, can relate to it because if they haven't experienced that directly, they've experienced something like it. And I think he was one of the. I mean, I'm sure there are, just to get back to illustrators in general, I think there's so many great illustrators that never have the immediate recognition that somebody like a Rockwell had. And maybe a lot of people today don't know who Rockwell even was. But
oh my God, don't tell me that.
But that's possible. Oh yeah.
But
unfortunately,
it's interesting to me that he had a nice career, successful career, and then he was able to go on after that and take his talent in a different direction, and still in art, but his purposes were different. And I think he was successful in both careers that he had.
And now, again, go back to the illustrator part, like what you said about being like on the front cover of a magazine. You have to have that kaboom, eye-catching thing to make a front cover work. It's got to have something that draws people in. And there's normally like, here's your icon or not. Like even like, the blend, like the cover we have right now for winter, with all the musicians draw you in because there's movement with the musicians. Like there's certain things that have to draw you in. Okay, there's a power of three, in composition and all of that. But what's interesting with him is he does draw you in with something, but there are all these little things if you spend time to look at it, but he does draw you in. But he has that soft movement that it's not uncomfortable. He's comfortable. Right. I'm not.
It's like Mama's apple pie.
Yeah, but I would like to see.
You are right. It's something when it's comfortable. You've got a good word for it because it's something we can all relate to.
I've never said that about art in my life.
There's
a weird word to use. Yeah,
there's a real talent to being able to what we call depth of field in photography is to have a background that it needs to be there for the comfort, but it's not exactly faded out, but it becomes not as important as the central figure of the painting, and he has that. Especially in the painting we're talking about with the horse, there are things that kind of fade into the background perspective-wise, and things that are central. And there's a talent to being able to do that, because when you come to realistic painters and illustrators, they can almost get a little bit flat. Like Japanese seem one-dimensional. Japanese art sometimes can be kind of flat-looking, like everything's at the same level. And if you get
the style.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and when you get too realistic, you can go there with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has movement and a roundness that you don't get.
Yeah, because I've battled with that for a long time. Everything was supposed to be exactly what I saw perfectly, and then I realized, well, wait a minute. What's the point of the painting? Where's the central focus? Where's the real story of the painting? And you got to learn to do that, to fade out some. Like I'm looking at paintings I have here that I did that I'm like, man, that sucks.
No, don't do that.
No, there's we're different stages of learning, and I think that he had that ability as an illustrator to put the detail in, but still have the focal point there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, if you think about the way our eyes see, or how our brain interprets what our eyes are taking in, the things that are close to you are going to be detailed. The things far away aren't. And I've seen commercial artists. There was a commercial artist, really good one back in the 1950s, popular one, who did these wonderful turn-of-the-century landscapes. But everything was detailed. I mean, the background was as detailed as the foreground, and it was almost made you tired looking at it because although it was very well done, it wasn't restful in any way. Your eye didn't know where to exactly focus because everything was so important.
Well, that's
what I think
of. Grandma Moses paintings are like that.
Yeah.
It's like
yes.
You know what I mean? It's like
don't you be talking about Grandma Moses like that.
No, I mean if that was her style, but everything was the same. The same level of detail. There wasn't any soft or nothing there.
Okay, so let me go. I want to bring up my thing because I've been sitting and jumping up and down here.
Okay, sorry.
But it is sense of place, basically. He gives you sense of place, and he puts you in the story. And I was wondering, because I know you were talking about in this article that he's a pilot and an inventor and a patent holder. So when you and he served in World War II. I mean, this guy's done a bunch, and so he's like one of those people who just don't stop. But when you are a pilot, you see this broadscape from like the bird. You have the bird's eye view, and you understand how to see the big picture, and then bring it into focus. And also, as an inventor, you have to have a path of what you're doing to make whatever you're inventing work. There's a process, and I think those two qualities have got to tie into what he was doing. And he was a photographer too, right? I mean,
he wouldn't have called himself a photographer, but he did use photography while he was out looking at stuff. Yeah, he would bring things back to the studio along with his sketches. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know what he invented?
Well, I saw a mock-up of something he invented, but I couldn't tell you right now what it is. What it was. It was something to do with smoking. But I can't.
I don't smoke,
I cannot.
Wow.
Send it to California.
No, not that. No. I'm talking about just a pack of cigarettes.
He likes to be high up in the sky. Sorry. Friday, first show.
But I mean, when his studio was after he died, and when his studio was dismantled and the paintings would be taken away, the stipulation was that everything had to go. And so my art dealer, who was taking the paintings, took everything, to all his records, all his sketchbooks, his drawing board, which was fantastic. Because on his drawing board, I mean, I would love to have his drawing board as much as one of his paintings, because on his drawing board he tested everything he did, every texture he tested first. And so there are all these little vignettes of his, it was like he's experimenting. And so it's really, really interesting. But anyway, he all his records from, his invoice books from when he was a commercial artist, his pilot license, his invention, the letter he received, typewritten from the patent office. These, all that stuff. I mean, there's a really complete picture of the things he's accomplished in his life.
That's interesting.
Wow.
He should write a book.
I know. This is. I know.
Yeah. I mean, there's gaps. There's gaps. You'd have to extrapolate, because there's really nothing about his family. He never married that we know of, and he moved away from Thief River Falls in northern Minnesota, when he was a very young man, and went to Minneapolis. But basically he just spent his life in art.
Wow.
I think there's something with that. You get into that zone. You get into your own zone, and it's like, I just number one love the name Thief River Falls. Like I want to go there because of the name and find out the history behind it, because that's interesting. Something went down. You know, by the way, Billy the Kid, Silver City, New Mexico, where you are. I just saw a thing about it on TV.
So much fun.
And I was just watching the history of it, and I swear that they filmed it in the cabin that's outside the visitor center in Silver City, where he came out of the cabin. I mean, it's like the supposed cabin, like, or a replica of it. Yeah. And I swear they filmed it there, but I don't know. Yeah. But it was he
moved out of Silver City when he was still pretty young. He got in trouble. He first got in trouble in Silver City, but
and then he
went.
And they talked about Silver City on it, and we're like,
he escaped through the chimney.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on Drunken History. If anybody watches that
History.
No, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but it's really an interesting way of teaching people history. Drunk people tell you history, and then they reenact it with a drunk person's voice. It's really quite interesting. It's a whole other thing. But anyway,
I like it.
I know. We were thinking about you. I was going to call you. Go watch Drunk History. It's like it's only midnight. But the other thing, he did educational stuff, like educational books, children's books. So Black Cowboy, the story of Nat Love.
When he was still a commercial artist, he did do some illustration, and he did one children's book. In fact, there's a copy of this book in his that I saw in his in his possession there. It was about a guy named Nat Love, and I don't know if it was a true story or not. It kind of looked like it to me, but it was Nat Love was a black cowboy, and this was published in 1970, and he did the illustrations for it. A lady named Charlotte Clark was the author. I never did find out if he did any more book illustration. He was real tied up with a fishing lure, which if you're from Minnesota, this is a big deal.
Fishing is part of your life, yeah.
But he got involved with a company called Rapala, I think, and he did catalogs. He did illustrations for them of their fishing lures, and he always did this big, cover with the fish, jumping out of the water, being caught by a lure. So those things that he did, the original illustrations, none of those were in his possession when he died. The company probably owned those. So, but I know that even reproductions of those old catalog pictures are collector's items.
Wow, that's neat, man. I love it that you find people like this. I mean, you always you come on shows with these different, artists, and I love artists that do different things like that, like Ted DeGrazia and stuff that just they don't have that limit.
No, but it's also to survive as an artist or a musician. Sometimes you just got to do a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, I know. I love it. So, everybody, again, Victoria's article is up on blendradioandtv.com. Just type in Victoria or Leighton Fossum, and it'll be in the April issue, spring issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. Of course, go to her website, victoriachick.com. But what is happening in Silver City? I mean, you've got little snow, I believe, at one point. Do you think you're going to get more?
We had snow on Christmas, but on New Year's it was 67. So we are in a wonderful weather pattern right now as far as temperature goes. We wish we would have rain and snow, really, because the Southwest needs rain and snow periodically, and but I'm just enjoying the weather. I've been going out hiking.
It's been warm.
I did some hiking on the Continental Divide Trail last week, and I'm getting ready. I'm the trail master or mistress for the Nan Ranch competitive trail ride. So I've been working on developing a 30-mile trail for that.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
That's been lots of fun.
That is
Wow.
awesome. I love that. And everybody, you got to go. Silver City is so cool. It's so cool. We're gonna see you guys soon. We've got things up our sleeves as always.
Yeah.
Every time the new year changes over, part 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the plan is happening. So we'll be there.
Yeah.
But okay, so I always like to play a song for you. And I had to change the song again. I know it's like no, I changed the song because and I thought of it earlier, and then I was like, but it's because you kept talking about horses and cattle, so I thought we'd play horses and cattle, and it's from Mike Muto, who's from Silver City, off of his album Spirits Still Remain.
There you go.
Spirits Still Remain, and since Leighton Fossum went out, all over the place in New Mexico and here in Arizona and Tucson, and his work was here, I just thought, we'll play something regional and go, with what he paints. So horses and cattle, and Mike Muto, everyone, MikeMuto.com, you can go there. Or Mutu is actually how you pronounce it, but we call him Mike Muto.
He's a great cowboy poet. I could just read his stuff or listen to him recite, and for all evening, because the guy is really entertaining.
He is. He's super cool, and
he
incredible.
came up to Tucson a while ago and did a performance, and he didn't really tell us, but we found out and we went, and he was totally surprised, and it was interesting to just pop up there and see the audience reaction to what he was doing.
Yeah, he was here in Catalina State Park. It was when we first moved.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he was playing, and they had little twinkly lights under this beautiful tree, and cactuses all around, and there were big tarantulas on the ground. It was cool.
I know, that was kind of
that was the coolest part.
It was a migration.
I know, but come on, tarantulas are cool.
They're way cool.
But it's part of it's part of the terrain of this area, and so I just figured we'd play that.
Yeah.
And besides, it's comes out of your neighborhood, your hood.
Yeah.
Victoria.
Right. I mean, I like it.
Okay. Oh, real quick. Elk sightings?
Yeah.
Yes, we have had elk around.
Cool.
And deer, and we've had a lot of bear scat in our yard. So they're visiting at night, apparently.
Aren't they supposed to be hibernating now?
It's too warm for them to hibernate.
Yeah, the bears are going crazy here in Madeira Canyon. Apparently, we need to take bear spray if we go hiking up here.
Well, I suppose if you're a bear in Florida, you're hibernating.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start telling bear jokes. You don't want me to do that.
Right now, because it's so warm, everything is pretty active, and so I think I don't know, bears are pretty much omnivorous, and they're as far as berries and stuff, that there's not much of that. There's still juniper berries on the trees, and they do like those.
Ooh,
and as far as meat, I don't want to be in the area. I don't want to become dinner, so
that's funny.
It's so hard to think of a bear taking down, a deer, but they do once in a while.
Animals do their thing when they need to. I mean, it's pretty amazing what nature does, And
it just seems so weird that they're not hibernating.
Yeah, I hope we get some rain in the next couple of weeks, because at the end of January, if we can get some good solid rain, it'll be a really good wildflower season.
Yeah.
Just saying that from my personal thing, but I also know the deserts need rain. But we had a really good monsoon season, all of us. So, hopefully that will.
This last year was fantastic as far as rainfall. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if it's dry this year, well, we just have to expect that and not panic.
I know. Don't panic. It's just the way it is. Deal with it, and don't use so much water,
Don't waste.
I know. Don't brush your teeth with the faucet running the entire time. Just get on my soapbox, but anyway, and you don't need to use that much water when you use a soapbox. Okay, all right, Victoria.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us as always, everyone. VictoriaChick.com. Go to her website, have a look at her work, and also her print collection. Which good luck with having her part with one, but sometimes you do. Sometimes, if it's the right home, or sometimes. But good luck.
Okay. Well, no,
Good luck.
I'm still collecting, so. But I enjoy sharing. So if anybody wants to talk to me about prints, I'm always happy to accommodate them.
Right on. And so, and when people come to Silver City, they can meet with you by appointment, right? In your Cow Trail Art Studio?
Yeah,
by appointment.
I'm usually here, but it's best to give me a call first.
Yeah,
absolutely. Or to email.
Yeah, because she's a trail madam. She's a trail madam now.
My trail master responsibilities are taking a lot of my time.
And she's on a horse. She has a new kitten, and she lives really on the cow trail.
Okay, wait. One burning question. What's your kitten's name?
Yeah.
He's a gray cat, and his name is Zane.
Zane?
Zane. Zane Gray.
Oh, you're so vain.
No. No, that's V-A-I-N.
Right now, I'm really so scratched, is what I am, because he is quite active.
He's a kitten. He's a real kitten.
But
he's a kitten.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kittens are so cool.
Awesome. Well, have fun. Have fun and say hi to Mike, and Happy New Year to you both and to your new kitten and all the critters in Victoria Land, the Madam of the Trails. But here it is, everyone. Horses and Cattle, and that's Mike Moutou, Moutous. He's an incredible photographer, so check him out on Facebook as well. He's always got deer and baby javelinas and all kinds of things that happen on his property. Cool. So check him out and keep up with him and his concerts. Thanks so much, Victoria. You take care.
You too.
Thanks.
Talk to you next
I'm glad you made it on the show.
Me too.
Here it is. Horses and Cattle, and again off of the album Spirits Still Remain.
Spring on the ranch and the cattle are restless. It's been dry, the grass still ain't grown. They've knocked down a fence and now 20 are missing. We need to find them, bring them all home. But the cattle are scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes and the trees. There's only one way to get them, I'm thankful for that, with horses and cowboys like me. Summer on the ranch, new calves will need branding, we'll gather them up at first light. It's a pretty big pasture, we've got extra men, we're all gonna sleep good tonight. 'Cause the cattle are scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes in the trees. There's only one way to get 'em, I'm thankful for that, with horses and cowboys like me. Horses and cattle, the cowboy's life, it takes both to set a man free. The cows make you money, horses bring pleasure. Together, they're all that we need. Fall on the ranch, we're shipping the yearlings, busiest time of the year. We've loaded the trucks, the boss got a good price, the smile on his face says it's clear. 'Cause the cattle were scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes in the trees. There's only one way to get 'em, I'm thankful for that, with horses and cowboys like me. Winter on the ranch, we're feeding the cattle, using a pickup most days. Now and then there's other work to be done, I love to hear the boss say, well, the cattle are scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes in the trees. Saddle your horse and meet me back here. Today you're riding with me. When the cattle are scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes in the trees, there's only one way to get 'em, I'm thankful for that, with horses and cowboys like me.
Everyone again, that was Mike Moutou and Horses and Cattle, and that's dedicated to Victoria Chick living up in Silver City where Mike Moutou lives, and also to Leighton Fossum for his love of horses and cattle.
That's right.
I know, and his amazing art.
Perfect.
So again, Victoria's article is up on blendradioandtv.com on Leighton Fossum, and go to her website, victoriachick.com, and keep up with Mike Moutou. Go to mikemoutou.com. It's an awesome song.
I know, it's so much fun.
Okay.
He's a great performer.
I know, he really is. He really is. So Hawaii is our next destination. You know.
I like it.
I know. So I wanted, because I know that Tanya Ortega lives, Maui. So I thought I'd play one of our favorite Hawaii songs. Well, it's not a Hawaiian song, but it's a song about Hawaii. And it's from some of our favorite singer-songwriters, the Tall Men Group.
Oh, cool.
The Six Tall Men.
That come in a six-pack.
We call them the six-pack. But they are six tall men.
You can order them.
Some of the best singer-songwriters on this planet. And this is off of their album 12x6, their first song together. They get together every month. They have a dinner that is cooked by Jimmy Yessian, who is known as the Muffin Man. And I believe he wrote this song, actually. It's One Maui Sunset.
If you call 1-800-TALL-MEN, that you can have 6 tall men delivered to your doorstep.
That's not true. Don't tell people that. It's Friday and you never know what could happen. But here it is. One Maui Sunset. This is off of their first album. They've got 3 now. The latest is Feast. And we'll be talking with them in the new year because they have the next album in the works right now. They're getting ready. They were just labeling it and everything. So here it is, everybody. One Maui Sunset. And after that, boy, do we have a cool segment. We've got Bonnie Prince Billy and Tanya Ortega from the National Parks Arts Foundation joining us to talk about Will Oldham, who is Bonnie Prince Billy, talking about the artist in residency that he's doing and his wife is doing out at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. So here it is, One Maui Sunset.
Over the ocean I flew, drops on the window, blurry the view. One Maui sunset I knew it was for me, this gift from you. Floating on water, breathing out and in, sailing on trade winds. One Maui sunset, I felt your heart shining through. I'm one Maui sunset away from you. Yellow on crimson, crying on cue. One Maui sunset I knew I'd find myself thinking of you. Rays of light, grays and blues, only the tide knows the truth. One Maui sunset, I felt your love shining through. I'm one Maui sunset away from you. I felt myself falling through. I'm one Maui sunset away. Thank you for this beautiful day. One Maui sunset away from you.
everyone again. That was One Maui Sunset, dedicated to Tanya Ortega.
That's beautiful.
I know, everyone. That's a Tall Man group, and off of their first album together, and that was 12 by 6 because it's 12 by 6, the Tall Man.
It's the six-pack.
I know. It's very, very cool, and everybody needs to go get the album when you can. So now we're going to go to Hawaii, literally. So take a listen here. We've got Will Oldham, known as Bonnie Prince Billy, and he's going to be joining us along with Tanya Ortega from the National Parks Arts Foundation right here on Big Blend Radio to talk about his residency at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Very exciting.
Cool.
And his wife is with him, too. He's an amazing fabric artist. And before we bring them on, let's play some music. What do you think?
Okay.
I'm thinking that's a good thing. We're going to be playing some music, and we're going to play. Let's see, what are we playing here? I Am Goodbye. That's the album Beware, 2009, I Am Goodbye. So take a listen to that, and we'll bring him on in a couple seconds.
You are hello, they glow and cry. Heaven we go, never say die. I'll likely never know the answer why. You are hello, I am goodbye. I am goodbye, like the end of something wonderful sometimes, like the way that a wound up toy top unwinds. I am goodbye, I am goodbye.
You're listening to Big Blend Radio's Toast of the Art Show with Nancy and Lisa. You just heard I Am Goodbye. It's from the 2009 album Beware by acclaimed singer-songwriter and recording artist Will Oldham. He's best known by his stage name Bonnie Prince Billy. And Will and his wife, who's a fabric artist, incredible fabric artist, Elsa Hansen Oldham, they are both the National Parks Arts Foundation artists in residence at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. And we're thrilled to have them both join us, as well as Tanya Ortega, the founder of the National Parks Arts Foundation, on the show today to talk about this. Because there's nothing like music and fabric art like at the volcanoes, and being able to stay there for a month, it's amazing. So everyone check out nationalparksartsfoundation.org, and also to keep up with Will, go to royalstablemusic.com. Will, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. So glad that you could join us. And Tanya, how are you doing? Are you at the volcano or on the top of a cell tower? We never know where you are.
Can you hear it? First of all, can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit. I can hear a lot of music in the background, so that's good. Something good's going on.
Are you in a bar?
Are you having a party?
Oh yeah, I'm in the bar at. Oh, it's almost 11. I'm good. No,
yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm actually at Magic. I'm in my car at Magic Sands Beach in Kona, just looking out over the water and seeing the waves.
the music is coming
Where's
where?
the music coming from?
Well, the music is coming from. I'm sitting in front of the fire at the Volcano House because, there's not enough cell signal in our house for me to have a conversation with you, unfortunately.
But hey, it's good to have music in the background. So you've got a fireplace. I mean, do you need that in Hawaii right now?
Because we're like 4,000 feet up. It's probably, I don't know, 55 degrees maybe. Getting warmer as the day comes on, but it's like last night. Yeah, we were definitely bundled up tight with piles of blankets on us last night.
No way.
It was in the 40s, I would imagine. Yeah.
Nobody ever thinks that would happen in Hawaii.
I know. Then you think like gravitate towards the volcano, right?
But it's snowing in
Florida. Yeah, exactly.
So what's it like being there, Will? Because, listening to your music and reading your story, it just feels like you and also go towards a true sense of place wherever you travel.
Exactly. So we're just beginning to, try to understand what it is to be here. We've just begun our month. We've just had a very little time so far, and trying to get a feel for understanding who is up here now and who's been up here in the past.
When you say that, who is that about the artists from before, or are you talking about the land and the people?
The land and the people, not necessarily the artists from before, but who has lived up here and who lives up here now, and what these things that everybody, the people have experienced for. Is what have they made of what's up here? Both culturally, mythologically, and what have people made of this? How have people made a life out of this landscape, which is so completely foreign to what we're accustomed to in Louisville, Kentucky? Yeah,
now we have friends at Springfield, Kentucky. We're going to Springfield in the spring, and apparently you're right near there. So it's very interesting because looking at what Elsa does, which is amazing, I was looking at all of her quilts, and it's like she just seems to bring a sense of place and like what's going on with people and time into a quilt, which is amazing. Like it's
art.
There and now,
it's
and she can break barriers with that. But your area in Kentucky, don't you have like this barn quilt tour where quilting is it's part of life there?
Quilting is definitely. I get a sense even from talking to some of the park employees up here that quilting is a part of life all over this place, all over the United States. There's definitely a history of beautiful Hawaiian quilting, but in Kentucky has its own traditions that Elsa is constantly tapping deeper and deeper into, and we both. I guess one thing that we share in terms of this relationship to place is maybe there was each of us in our lives had times when we looked around and thought like, well, who am I, and who am I in relation to these other people, and we figured out, we each found our method for trying to interpret. It's trying to find your own place, and the best way to do that is to create a deeper relationship to the place around you, and then you understand a little more about yourself. It all goes well.
It's kind of a really crowded world, and you have to look at it from the big picture and then drill down to where you really are. Finding your spot in the world. I feel like wrote
it's
in
a very crowded
TV
world.
Series.
Yeah. It is crowded. It is crowded.
But you have to find, because everybody's unique and has their own talents and ways of doing things, and everybody together makes the world, but you still got to find your place.
Yeah.
I just felt like saying that.
Yeah, no, I think Nancy and I are very much that about a sense of place, and I feel like, what I think is special about you both being there in Volcanoes National Park, which in Hawaii Volcanoes, Nancy and I have never been there yet, but we're on a quest to visit all 417 parks, because part of the importance of our parks and our monuments, our public lands, is to maintain that place that once we lose that and it becomes like corporate America, we've kind of lost
everything.
We've lost it. You know what I mean? It's like if everything looks like a mall, we've lost it. And I love and Tanya, this is what's so special about the National Parks Arts Foundation is that bringing artists into these places, musicians, poets, writers, fabric artists, all of these different genres allows this to go out to the world, and in some way it's remind people to keep them there. Do you feel that kind of responsibility, Will, at all? I mean, I don't want to put responsibility on your shoulders. I'm just saying. It's important what you're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean that parallels. I think that parallels musically what for the past few years, especially because the world is getting crowded. Culturally, it's getting really superficially crowded in such a way that there's an insane amount of music that you or I could tap into potentially right now, in a matter of seconds, with very, very little effort. And it makes it seem like there's more music than there is, and it makes it seem, but I've felt like over the past few years I've made a few records that are kind of pointed. There's a record last year that came out that was called Best Troubadour that was about. It was all about Merle Haggard. Maybe taking a year or two to, instead of saying, well, here's more music that I've made or that I want to make, I'd say, like, here's some music or here's my attempt at helping you understand what's already here, because exactly people can take these parks away because not enough people have pointed to the importance of them. You take certain things for granted, and you think, well, I don't know, maybe it is time for us to encroach upon the property boundaries of some of these parks, because I can see where we might want to, improve the economy of the United States and get some more jobs, and not understand that it's not a simple trade-off like that. The trade-off is much more vast to let go of something that is irreplaceable. Yeah.
That's an interesting statement, because the history of our government, for whatever reason, seems to ignore the value of tourism in a lot of aspects, but it's one of the biggest industries, if not the biggest in the world, that brings money into communities. And a big part of that is our natural spaces.
And keeping them sustainable.
And keeping them so you can see something different than your shopping mall, which, quite frankly, why would you visit one when you've already been to one? Because you can shop online anyway, so that's kind of a death call. So in actual fact, our natural spaces and our nature and what makes us different, our history, is what's going to win in the end if people get that part and don't become part of this totally greedy economic climate that is, we're all the same, and we're not. And I don't think any of us really want to be called all the same, like you're all the same. Sorry, but
then we have to wear a uniform. I don't want to wear a uniform.
I just don't want to be called all the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to be the same as everybody.
No, please don't, because we like what you do.
There's no reason to be here.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the point of visiting another place if it looks just like where you left?
Well, this is the thing. Like Hawaii Volcanoes National Park is, extraordinary that we can actually visit a volcano within our national park system in America, and that's extraordinary. And I think that being able to have an artist in residence program, I know that Dry Tortugas is part of the artist in residence program for National Parks Arts Foundation. I mean, then you can stay at a fort, like, Dry Tortugas has a fort, but like Pecos up in New Mexico, northern New Mexico, you've got that. It's like a historic fort, and then you could go stay. You could go to in a Chaco Canyon and go there and be part of the Aztec ruins as well. I mean, there's these variety of places, and I think that, Tanya, I want to bring you on to talk about this because it's so unique. And to have, all these interviews we've done over the last couple of years, and happy 2018, by the way, Tanya, it's our first show of the year with you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, it's so exciting because I think the volcanoes has got to be that and Dry Tortugas and Gettysburg. Can't leave out Gettysburg, a battlefield that you can stay in. I mean, it's so, each place is truly unique, and I hate to use the word unique because it's so
different,
cliche, but it's so damn true. Every single place is so unique.
Yeah, I'm compelled. I want to know more about the Dry Tortugas residency.
Uh-oh. He's going like round two.
That looks crazy.
Cool.
Is it like you drop off the artists on this island and they don't see civilization again for a month?
That's it. That's actually it. They you
turtle.
get your own paradise island. I think it's paradise. When I went, I was just you basically there's visitors every once in a while, if at all, and maybe another park employee or two, maybe, but you get your own house. It's so cool, and there's this lighthouse. It's amazing, but there is a huge drawback to that residency, and I'm probably shooting myself in the foot here, but it's okay. There are hurricanes there, and I don't know if you guys saw all of the stuff that happened with the artists that were there last. And it ended up actually, the devastation. They ended up staying and volunteering to do the cleanup, and the park invited them back, and they just stayed an extra month, and they're going to go back another time. And they're they really helped out. It's beautiful. But what you had to say about I like how you put Will, encroaching on the park, as well as looking at the long-term plan for our wild places. And yes, the artist in residence and getting the park and the beauty out through music and art in Will and Elsa's case is, I see it as one of the last ways to be able to sort of save the parks without there being too much of a footprint in the parks, because the aesthetic things that last through time and place are the arts. They're the aesthetics. They're the 5 aesthetics, and music and visual art are so important to be able to save these wild places, to show people who can't, or not everybody has the time to go to these places, the importance, not just because they're an icon, but they are important to the world, to nature, in aesthetics, everything. So that's really why these programs are important too.
And the history too.
But this is actually where the national park started, by artists going out and saying to the rest of the world, hey, look what we have in this country. Look at this. This is what we have. And it took that to get protection for these spaces. And it took artists, because at one point we were in the sequoias where the rangers telling us how they used to chop down the trees, and it was hurting them to chop down these magnificent trees to send them off to other cities to say, look what we have. We don't want to destroy them, as they destroyed them, trying to say we don't want to destroy them, where an artist can come in, paint a picture, and go, hey, look at this. It's so important that people, even when you say if you don't have time to go to a national park or a state park or whatever park, a natural place of refuge, if you don't have time, doesn't mean you should not be able to appreciate it.
Well, there's always this case of whales being saved with a plan. They saved whales, like, from them being completely wiped out. I mean, they're still in trouble, but they are able to do it with people who've never seen the ocean or a whale. So that's the thing. It's about the arts moving through. And I even think, with your music, Will, I think about the music coming from the Appalachians and coming out, right? And how that changed the scene of American music. And now it's like, here's that whole area is like national park territory, Appalachian Trail, there's Smoky Mountains, all of that. But, like, I think that, and there's so many park units that actually preserve the music of a place New Orleans, and they have like a jazz park.
I know, it's awesome.
Hey, Tanya, I want to do that residency.
I know.
Yeah, there are actually there are some parks whose history, part of their history, they haven't focused on, which actually is music. It's amazing, and we've gotten requests from these parks. So a lot of them, closer, to the East Coast and even near Nashville, that want these programs specifically for musicians, and we just think that would be fantastic.
Because people remember music. It's in there.
What Woody Guthrie did for music here. This land is my land. This land is your land. I mean, come on. He said it right out there.
So, Will, how long have you been there now? Like, I know today is January 5th. We're at the beginning of the year. You guys have a concert coming up in like 20 days, 21 days.
Yeah.
When did you get there?
So we've just been here a few days. Yeah, we got. So
at the very beginning.
We're definitely getting our bearings and trying to meet people and do a little bit of exploration and get clothes hangers for our closets, which we got this morning, which was great. And create our workspaces in our house. Yeah, so we're at the beginning, and have no clue where our brains or our work are going to go over the course of the next month.
That's exciting, because whatever you do, as we've talked about in this conversation, it's going to move forward. Like for Elsa with her work, what will happen from this point forward? Like, I know maybe what she's going to create is going to be different, but I know that she's in different galleries, and do you see, like, I know Dickinson Roundel Gallery in New York, she shows her work there, and isn't she one of the only few living artists that they showcase?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, their focus is primarily old dead great masters. Yeah. And then they've took a shine to this wonderful woman, and like having a little bit of life around the gallery every now and then. But she's hitting the ground here like with momentum. She has work, so that it's not, we neither of us come here and think like, okay, come on inspiration. We come with things that we have begun, so that we don't have to take a huge pause in our work, and as we discover what this place will allow us to do, we'll have a little momentum going.
Yeah, because this isn't, like, for you, this isn't the first time going to Hawaii, right? This is actually some of your family. Like, you've got family ties to Hawaii.
Yeah, my mother was born here back in the 40s, and I visited just sort of out of a sense of duty and curiosity more than anything about 20 years ago, and I've been back maybe 9 times since then, because it captivated me in a way that I had not expected, had not predicted, and I like it. I feel comfortable to a great extent, even as an understanding that I'm both, I belong here in some levels, and in many ways I do not belong here at all, and I understand that.
Yeah, that's
a place,
the history.
That I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with that. I'm in general, I think that's where a lot of my music comes from. Is trying to understand why. How do you interact with people who are not you or your people, and then who are, how can they then be your people without treading on or disrespecting the differences that we have.
It's so important, I think, in Hawaii. I know we've done some interviews over the years on the history and a number of authors, and Clifford Capano has done a lot of stuff, and it's just been interesting, because we've done shows and we've had people tell, like, here's the real story of what happened to Hawaii, and this is how America busted in with the doles. Okay, I don't want to start any of that, but here's the history, and then here's what the people felt like on the islands, and then we'll have someone come on right after and just go, well, if it wasn't for us Americans, Hawaii wouldn't be this way. And I'm like, what? So it's like it's very it's a very tender walk, and I think that's where, as travelers, we have to back off and let it just soak it up as much as you can get, and understand. There's this. You've got to take a back seat, put your ego way, way away. Like, don't even bring it with you. And just kind of, as a visitor, just go open-hearted, open-eyed, and receive and learn and connect, right? And as a musician, is it that way? Like, I'm going from a traveler's perspective, just having traveled and lived different places. That's kind of how I always go in. Doesn't mean it always works, but, like, as a musician, isn't that kind of the same thing, so you can get the true story?
Yeah, I mean, it was another huge surprise. You know, growing up in Kentucky and you know, traveling different parts of the world, different parts of the United States, and having a distant experience with Hawaiian music. It's you know, it's like most people experience country music from a distance and see that there's a lot of terrible country music, and you know, from a distance you can see that there's a lot of terrible Hawaiian music, because there's a lot of terrible music out there in general. And then it was such a wonderful shock to come and begin to hear music here and there once I was here, and then to meet musicians and say, wait, that's not terrible Hawaiian music. Wait a minute, that's not terrible. You know, this is, wait, I like this. This is very interesting and exciting, and this person's doing something that I've never heard before, and understanding that you can, you know, then there's a place to dig deeper, and there's no reason in coming here for me to listen to anything but Hawaiian music, and just keep ears open. Yesterday we were driving in the car, and we started hearing on the radio a bunch of commercials geared towards senior citizens, and I was like, oh, okay, I think this is going to be a good radio station, and indeed it was, because that's when they started, you know, all the music was in Hawaiian, and it was this, you know, crazy, beautiful, slow, old Hawaiian pop music.
Yeah. Don Ho. Did you get the real stuff?
Yeah, like Don Ho before, but deeper than Don Ho. I mean, I know that Don Ho was completely legit, but
he was like the Dean Martin of Hawaii.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time doing other music, and this is music that of people who didn't spend a lot of time doing anything but making music that's
and slack key.
Hawaiian
you got slack key out there?
It could be, some slack key,
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Like, you go to Louisiana, like, to me, it's like you've got to stop the commercial crap on radio. Like, stop it. Just stop playing Hotel California. It's my pet peeve in life. Nothing against the Eagles, but stop it over and over and over again. When you go into a town, try and get a college radio or the old school radio, like you're talking about, because you'll hear some authentic stuff. And when you go through, like, Texas and Louisiana and even parts of Florida, like the Panhandle, I don't know about Kentucky yet. We'll let you know when we get up there, but you can tell us, you know. There's this thing. I remember going to Lake Charles, and we decided to take some back roads in Louisiana, and all of a sudden got to this university station, and they had just discovered these ancient, like, not ancient, but like 100-year-old swamp pop albums that cool. they used to play on gramophones. And they were able to play them in the university, and I was like, "Oh my God! I don't even want to get to the hotel. I just want to hear this music out in the swampy area that we were at." And it was like, that is like the sense of place. That's the true thing. Like, the music of the land tells you the story, the history. It tells you the people, like what they like to do if they party, like the sadness, everything.
Yeah, how they party, how they mourn, everything. Yeah. How they woo.
It's like
how they move, the rhythm.
Every place has its personality.
I'm jealous. I want to go to
I think every place has its personality, and it's morphed through history. And our challenge is not to make everything cookie cutter the same. And big business wants everything cookie cutter the same because it's easier to manage.
Process.
It's easier to manage or control. And quite frankly, I don't want to be managed or controlled. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it, as long as I'm not hurting somebody else. I want to hear what I want to hear. Like if I'm in Hawaii, I want to hear Hawaiian music. I don't really want to hear the Eagles. Nothing against the Eagles. But if this is very specific to both Will and Elsa's art. Not falling into the trap that a lot of artists and people fall into, which is, this is what people like. I am going to be in the cookie cutter for the rest of my life and my career. And that's very, very unique to these two artists. It's hard to not do that because people, you get accolades for things that you've moved on from, and those things aren't holding these two back. So it's important to. I feel like what we're talking about now is kind of critiquing one's own quality of place and time, and ultimately the output of their creativity. And it's hard for people to do that, and I think they're doing it really well.
I think it's exciting, and I wanted to say, because I know that we talk about sense of place, and we've talked a lot about like the history part and the culture and the people. But Will, what do you think about like when you hear the volcano, like if you see it and it moves, right, and the lava's flirting out, and then you hear birds on the other side? Do you ever take in like the rhythm of that?
I can and do to some extent, but I guess I don't want to. I'm never engaged with like reinventing the wheel when it comes to the creation of a song structure. I'm kind of more compelled with how people have reacted in the past and allowed musical forms and musical shapes to evolve to suit our human needs. Because I don't necessarily want to work in tandem with or pretend to want to replace anything that's so awesome, like the musicality that you're describing, the music volcano itself, the musicality of the birds, like those things. Rather than try to work along with them, it's just sort of work with a massive amount of respect.
Yeah, I get it. It's like you can't, like, don't copy. Yeah, nature is nature, but you're gonna draw like.
It's all human. It's all human. Like it's all like that's. So I'm, being here. I want to know how people deal with what they have here and how they've specifically dealt with it musically, but in other ways as well.
Yeah, so it's the people part. Yeah, cool.
As you stay longer. I'm just going to look at this from a other side. Like being a witness to a volcano and an eruption, or the sparks that are flying at night and whatever. Would that not maybe perhaps in some way inspire a different rhythm for a song?
Yeah, it may inspire a different rhythm, and that's what we're here with: open minds, open ears, open eyes, and open hearts to try to see what this place does to us, because we have no way, we have no precedent. I have no way of knowing what this duration of close contact with this massive natural force, how it may make the music quieter and quicker, as a counterpoint to what we witness, something that's, or even sillier, maybe the music will all become sort of light and silly in the face of something so massive and awesome, rather than be volcanic in music, be the opposite, be just like wind.
But the wind, but also like what you talk about, the people side. I think that's really interesting because there's it's just like that important part of like how did the people over the years deal with a volcano and live there? Like how did they do that?
Yeah.
It's like you never know.
Why?
Yeah.
And why?
That's the biggest thing.
Because
like why?
Island and they couldn't get off.
Because you have the most badass sunsets and sunrises ever.
You're born with where you're born, right? Now, as Americans, we're
Right.
used to moving around. Like, okay, if you live in Colorado, you can go live in San Francisco. No big deal, really. But when you're on an island,
that's like it's different, yeah.
And you're going to go relocate. You know, and thinking back in generations before the internet, telephones, and all that, where would you relocate? You know, you get in your canoe or your dugout or whatever, and paddle till you find another place.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean, seriously, think about it.
It's so interesting to me because if you're on there, you're going to have to deal with it. Like, you know, we could sit there and go, okay, we don't like our house, we're moving, screw that.
Yeah,
but maybe you can't. And people who have to stay in the same spot and deal with it, I think there's so much strength and a good story in that, always.
But just think about if you're on an island and you decide to, like, I don't like this island, do you even know there's another island? You don't.
Well, way back when.
Prehistorically, you know. So you get in your little canoe and then you paddle out to wherever.
Man. This is good. I can't wait to see what comes out of this with the music, because I think that just is so interesting how music always transcends people, learn songs, and it sticks with them forever. So I'm very excited about this. And then Elsa's work, too, to see what she does. Looking at her work, it's just like, wow, she goes into collage mode, and it's all these different, like, timelines, and it's interesting. So I know you guys are doing a concert January 26th. Everybody at 6 p.m. for anyone who's out there in Hawaii, near Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. It's at the Visitor Center Auditorium. But this is interesting. She's going to be doing like needlework while you perform, and then people are going to be able. You guys are going to like have a close-up thing of what she's doing while you play music.
That's cool.
That's the goal. If the tech gods smile on us, that's the goal. Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
I think that's awesome.
But is that something that happens at home? Like, do you do that normally? Like,
just something. No, it's something. Well, I mean, it is something that happens in our home, but it'll be the first time we've done it in a public space. Yeah.
So,
wow.
So is she going to stitch to the beat of the music? Like, if you speed up, she's going to stitch faster?
We'll see. We'll see. She'll have her own goals. I'll have my goals, and she'll have her goals, and we will.
This is amazing.
Link at times, yeah.
Is this going to be filmed, Tanya? Is this something that like we can see later, or like you all need to just be there for this one moment and grasp it while you can, Tanya?
I hope that the Park Service would be able to film it. We don't have plans to film it, and we have to figure out where who would be the owner of the film too. So it could be. It
always gets tricky. Yeah.
It gets a little tricky, you know. So, that would have to be worked out. The park hasn't approached me with it yet, but they've filmed it before, and it actually looks fantastic. So we'll see. We'll see what we all think is best, or what the artists need.
Awesome. So, Tanya, I wanted to touch on this too, because again, like this is such a unique thing. I was getting your newsletter, and everybody, artist, musician, poet, writer, filmmaker, dancer, whatever you do that is anything in creative arts, go to nationalparksartsfoundation.org and sign up for the newsletter. Sign up on the social media, because when the call is like bugled, you need to like listen fast. And because these opportunities come and go, it's how grants come in, right, Tanya? You tell me, but like you got Death Valley and all kinds of new places and things happening like right now. Like everybody needs to move now. Get on it. Don't wait.
Yeah, we have a deadline for 3 parks in like 6 days. Oh. And what we have had to do is these really quick deadlines, because all the permitting takes. You never know when anything's going to happen. So we're just trying to get these 3 parks, national parks, in that are due in 6 days here, so that we can actually apply for grants for the artists and for the project for whoever signs up. So right now they're not funded. And we're trying to make sure that they are. So they're really quick, 6 days away. And
wow.
So yeah,
so move it. Get on board with that. Will, what was it that led you and Elsa to say let's do an artist in residence program? Did you ever think of that before? I thought I read somewhere that you've done one at Golden Gate, at the National Recreation Area, or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, there's a great art center there called the Headlands Center for the Arts, and I did a 3-month residency there. So it's right over the Golden Gate Bridge in, fairly pristine. In the Headlands that had been owned by. It didn't begin as preserved parkland. It was protected military land forever, and so that we have the military to thank for that protected area. But it was, and then Elsa and I have talked about to do something like that, and then a good friend of mine he had heard about this and sent a link, and he said, "This sounds like something that was made for you too."
Yeah,
and
I think it's cool.
We applied, just not thinking at all that we would, be allowed to do this. But we're thrilled that we are.
I love that a husband and wife can go and do this.
I know. Awesome.
That's what's so cool, because this is the second couple that we know of right now, right? Julie and Matthew Chase Daniel that were out in the Dry Tortugas. We had them on the show twice. And it's just so cool, number one, to see husband and wife couples in creativity, and then, because you guys are definitely your own, you're doing your own thing, but you're working together in ways. It's so cool, and I think it's so neat that, Tanya, that the National Parks Arts Foundation is open to that, because so many times, whenever you're doing any kind of thing, it's no, you can't do this, you can't wear this, you must wear a uniform, you will tie your hair up. Or cut it.
It's interesting because they're pretty standard, the calls for artists and what the park has on site. For instance, a lot of these we say we can only take one artist because we only have one bed. But it is really interesting because probably half of the artists that have been accepted have had special requests, which we have been able to fill at 90% of the time even with children. So, we do an agreement with the parks for these very specific things, and then of course when we pick the finalists and look at them, there's a wonderful artist. The great people at the park are going to do what they can to make sure that they get those artists. So it's kind of here's the rules, but then somebody says what they want, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure it happens. Even if it costs more, we're sometimes really able to say to our donors, look, we need exactly this amount of money to afford to, get a bigger house or, have a changing table, whatever it is. It's all up to the artists to kind of form it themselves in their proposal. And it's a little strange on this end too, because we leave a lot up to the artists to come up with what they want. Because let me tell you something, we've tried to tell artists what to do, and I'm an artist too. If people tell me what to do, no way, no way is there any creativity in that.
Go to yourself. No, I just don't, because it's so close on my tongue to say that.
Dude, it just doesn't work.
No.
It's
no, but we need that, because individuality and the integrity of the arts is so key. It's key to life. It's key to every person should live with integrity, to do what they're supposed to do. Don't harm things on your path. But
it is biodiversity is what makes everything work. And if you make everything the same, then you could go buy Legos and spend your time building them.
Or you could go work for Monsanto. But anyway, I didn't say that.
Neither did I.
Sorry, but it is. It's true. Monocrop or organic. And thank you, Hawaii, for being so good in really that fight of organic. Okay, I won't get into that. I'll behave. Anyway, just go Google our past shows. Before you guys go, everybody, nationalparksartsfoundation.org. Go there, check it out. There's so much going on. So, again, the concert is going to, and I wish we were there, man. I really want to go to Hawaii now. January 26, 2018. Go there. I'm saying 2018 because it's the first show of the year here at Hawaii. Volcanoes National Park, the Visitor Center Auditorium. So go there and go witness something exquisite and different. And by God, I want to know more about fabric art. And so this is exciting about what Elsa's doing, too. Will, I want to say Merle Haggard, Best Troubadour. How cool is that? And I love the title of it because troubadour, to me, is one of the best words in the world. So I thank you for doing that album because it's important that there's more troubadours in the world. I think that's what you're doing right now, in a way, you know?
Yeah. We'll see what we're doing when everything gets called what it is. We'll see what it is we've done.
How cool. It's so exciting. So thank you for joining us and taking the time out of volcano time. Really appreciate that. Everyone, royalstablemusic.com, and now we're going to play New Wailing, which is off of your album Wolfroy Goes to Town. So what's up with the wolf man in you? What's up with the wolf?
I think just as a kid, I appreciated in the Universal horror movies, the Wolfman, Larry Talbot was his alter ego, played by Lon Chaney Jr. And he was he's so pathetically, he was ill-equipped to deal with the animal inside of him, and I think that was something that I guess I identified with even as a kid. Like, I did not understand how to balance this thing called humanity with this thing that we also were, which is these raging, wild, warm-blooded creatures with things that we could not control and could not understand. And so I like that.
That's really cool because it's the dark and the light, because with humanity comes a big dose of non-humanity. And I'm not talking about animals. I'm talking about humans who lack human feeling.
Yeah, it's a clue, though. I like that you said battery.
I think I just want to go greed versus humanity and say it that way.
Yeah. Remember, the sun's not yellow; it's chicken. All right. Sorry, Bob Dylan. It's my favorite quote. Sorry, I just think of the buttery, and I just went there. Well, we're going to play New Wailing. Thank you for saying that so we can play that. And thank you both for joining us. Tanya, anything else before we go? Then everybody get your stuff in. Submit now.
You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for having this interview, and I wish everybody a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you for what you do, Tanya. You rock, lady. She is get the parks and the arts together and make it happen. Right. There's no there's no stagnation. She just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. Oh, that's so nice of you.
There's always a few bumps, though. There's always a few little bumps that I wish weren't happening for, whatever. Yeah. But thank you so much. I feel like I can always be better. That's all.
No, me too.
Thank
you.
We can all always be better.
And I know that you and Nancy don't like bumps on the road because you're both Taurus and you're both born on the same day, and you both want to do your thing and move forward. Don't get in our way. We're stubborn, damn it.
One day I'm just going to put bumps of the world in a timeline and put who they are.
Yeah. Oh, good. All right. Thank you, Will, and please say hi to Elsa, and thank you both for being there and telling us the beginning, and we can't wait to see the fruition of your journey there. Thank you so much.
We can't wait either. Thanks for taking the time in this conversation. Yeah, appreciate everything.
Thank you, and everybody, royalstablemusic.com, and go get Will's music because, seriously, cool. Bonnie Prince Billy, I love that. I love the Bonnie part.
Do we know how you got that name
or created that name?
I needed it. I needed to have a name so that, essentially so that when people say that they hated Will Oldham, I knew they were talking about me and not my music. But if they say that they hate Bonnie Prince Billy, I can say, well, I'm still okay. And I came up with the name because it was it's like Bonnie Prince Charlie. It's like Bonnie Prince Charlie, who was a real person, but also a figure in literature. I don't know if he was a wrestler. He may have wrestled. This is old Scottish history, and a figure of a hero, a figure in music as this mythological figure, and then Bonnie and Billy. Billy, if you twist him around, you've got the real name of the mythological American Western cowboy outlaw, Billy the Kid.
You just put our entire show into full perspective.
Right.
We start out with, Excalibur with Alan-Simon,
Bonnie Prince Charles
to Southwest Art to you. This is perfect. And we went to Hawaii and Kentucky.
Yeah.
This is badass cool. Well, here it is.
Yeah.
New Wailing is what we're going to play now. And, again, everybody, royalstablemusic.com. Is that the best place for everyone to go get your music, Will?
Yeah, or dragcity.com, which is the record label that I've been with for 25 years or so.
Everybody wants to go to Drag City. It's more fun. Just saying.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. You guys take care.
You too.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Tanya.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, once I had a partner, but now that is done, I made awful actions that I thought were fine. Here years have come on, and I live like a king, like a monarch who's over all that he sings. Oh, but none will come near me, and fewer stay by. They know what I done and where my fate lies. I started in old world, have come now to new, and all my actions and my behaviors and my beliefs, they come with me too. There had been a time when the world knew my name, and they may know it's somewhere still. Oh, but I ain't the same. Barefoot, the stupid, the cute, and the sharp have bowed and been broken by me or by God. There's no rest for the wicked, and less for the good. No fear for the mongrels that do what from under the sun. Oh, once I had a partner, but now that is
everyone, again, that was Bonnie Prince Billy and New Wailing, and go get his music. You know, it's like good stuff. Very cool conversation. Since we were talking about Hawaii, I want to recall some Hollywood history. I'm not recalling it, but Steve Schneickert is. This is a segment he did for us many years ago, and I've just been dying to play it. Hunter Noack was on the show a month ago. He was the artist in residence for the National Parks Arts Foundation, at the Haleakala National Park, and he performed a concert there and has done amazing things, and I wanted to play it on that show, but we didn't have time, but now we do. So here it is. Steve Schneickert recalls Hollywood history of Hawaii.
C&H, Mommy uses it to bake her cakes. She makes the sweetest cookies, snacks, and candy. They're dandy. Sure as pure cane sugar from Hawaii. Hawaii, Hollywood, motion pictures, and television. Amazing how many actors, motion pictures, and television programs originated in Hawaii. To name a few actors born in Hawaii, we have, in no specific order, our Grammy, Emmy, and Golden Globe winner, Bette Midler, Oscar winner, Nicole Kidman, James Shigeta, Kelly Preston, Hilo Hattie, Grammy Award winner, Bruno Mars, Tia Carrera, Kwan Hai Lim, Ponce Ponce, and the most notably, Don Ho. Don Ho was an icon and legend in Hawaii. He received a bachelor's degree in sociology at the University of Hawaii in 1953. In 1954, he became a member of the United States Air Force flying fighter jets. When he transferred to Hamilton Air Force Base, California, he went to the local city of Concord and bought an electronic keyboard from a music store and recalls, "This is when it all began." Father of 10 children, Don Ho's debut album was in 1964 called Don Ho's Show. In 1966, his second album was released entitled Don Ho Again. That same year, he released the song that would forever be his trademark, Tiny Bubbles. Tiny bubbles in the wine make me happy, make me feel fine. Besides having his own television show, Don made appearances on I Dream of Jeannie, Bum 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 Bum, The Brady Bunch, Brum Bum Bum Bum, Brum Bum Bum Bum, Brum Bum 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 Bum, Batman, Batman, and Stanford and Son, to name a few. Speaking of television programs, many were made and produced in Hawaii. 1959's Adventure in Paradise, starring Gardner McKay. 1959's Hawaiian Eye. Hawaiian Eye. Hawaiian Eye. 1964's Gilligan's Island. Bum 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 bum. Both Hawaii Five-0 shows. Bum 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 1980's Magnum P.I., Fantasy Island. Welcome to Fantasy Island. The plane, boss. 1982's The Thornbirds, 1988's Jake and the Fat Man, 2004's Lost, and many more. Motion pictures began filming in Hawaii during the 1920s. However, I will name films from the 1950s and on. 1953's Oscar winner From Here to Eternity. 1963's Diamond Head, starring Charlton Heston, Yvette Mimieux, George Chakiris, and James Darren. 1966's Hawaii. 1967's Blue Hawaii, starring Elvis Presley, and hot off Broadway, Angela Lansbury. You coax the blues right out of the horn, Mame. You charm the husk right off of the corn, Mame. 1980's Raider of the Lost Ark, 1993's Jurassic Park, 2009's Avatar, and 2011's Pirates of the Caribbean, starring Johnny Depp. One of my personal favorite films filmed in Hawaii is 1958's South Pacific. South Pacific is a 1958 American romantic musical film adaptation of the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical South Pacific, and based on James A. Michener's Tales of the South Pacific. The film, directed by Joshua Logan, starred Rosanna Brazzi, Mitzi Gaynor, John Kerr, Ray Walston in leading roles, with Juanita Hall as Bloody Mary, the role she played in the original stage production, along with Ray Walston. Songs include Bloody Mary is the girl I love. Bloody Mary is the girl I love. There is nothing like a dame, nothing in the world. Bali High may call you any time, any day, when the sun is a bright canary yellow. They call me a cockeyed optimist. I am like a schoolgirl waiting for a dance. I am like a schoolboy waiting for a dance. Some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger. Dites-moi, pourquoi la vie est belle? Est-ce que parce que vous m'aimez? I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. I'm in love with a wonderful guy. Younger than springtime are you. Happy talk, keep talking, happy talk. 101 pounds of fun. That's my little honey bun. You've got to be taught to hate and fear. This nearly was mine. If you don't talk happy, then you'll never have a dream. And you'll never have a dream come true. I'm Steve Schneickert, and this is Hollywood history as I recall it.
Sing it, Steve. Sing it.
That made me feel a lot younger and then older at the same time.
I know.
I know all the words to all of that.
I know. Steve rocks. And he'll be on our anniversary show, our 11th anniversary show, happening this Sunday, January 7th, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Join us. Steve will be on there, and we're going to have a brunch party. Steve will be on the brunch party. We actually have some Hollywood history we're going to dig out of the vault, too, about radio in the 1930s and the 1940s.
Cool.
Part of the brunch party, Steve will be there. Stephanie McMillan from the Springfield Tourism Commission. So we're getting our Kentucky on.
She's getting a bourbon.
Yeah, she's also going to tell us what's happening in spring out in her area. And then right after that, we'll be seeing her, like in May or something like that. We'll be out in that area. Also, Glenn Burvis from Norfolk Tours England will be on the show. And he'll our brunch segment, and Rob Ridgway from Spontaneous, the song game, made it to #1 on Amazon for everything.
Cool.
Just so awesome. And whenever he comes on the show, we play Spontaneous, the song game, so tune in for that. Also, Linda Kassam, the food, wine, and shopping diva, will be part of the brunch party, but also staying on to talk about her trip to Madrid and sharing the best of Madrid, churros and chocolate, tacos, and the Jamon Museum, a museum dedicated to ham.
Who knew?
I know, and skeletons in an archaeological place. Just saying.
That's where you find them.
And Bobby DePorter, the co-founder of Super Camps, on the show. So we're going to talk about the 8 Keys of Excellence and all kinds of good stuff. So that will be our show on Sunday. It's our party. So join us, 11 years on Blog Talk Radio, and it's been fun. It's been fun. And who knew we'd do this?
We didn't.
We didn't, but it's all
did.
good. It's all good in the hood. But I want to keep up with all the shows. Go to BigBlendRadio.com. We're also on Twitter at Big Blend Mag and Facebook. Just type in Big Blend Radio and TV Magazine. You'll find us there. And sign up for our newsletter if you go to our website, Big Blend Radio or BlendRadioandTV.com. Then you'll get our newsletter once a week with articles, the upcoming radio shows, recipes, and also you'll get our digital magazines once a month. So it's cool.
And they interact.
And it's all cool because, like, we did it. So I'm just saying.
Really.
Okay, so I want to close the show with a song just kind of going with everything. It's called We Are the Many. It's from Makana, one of the top psychic guitarists in the world from Hawaii. And We Are the Many is off of his album Ripe. And keep up with him at makanamusic.com. And I just think this is our first show of the year, and I've got to remind us all, we are the many. And you people that are mean, you are the few. So here it is. We are the many. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for our first show of the year.
Come here, gather round the stage. The time has come for us to voice our rage against the ones who've trapped us in a cage, to steal from us the value of our wage, from underneath the vestiture of law. The lobbyists at Washington do gnaw at liberty, the bureaucrats guffaw. And until they are purged, we won't withdraw. We'll occupy the streets, we'll occupy the courts, we'll occupy the offices of you, till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. Our nation was built upon the right of every person to improve their plight. But the laws of this republic they rewrite, and now a few own everything in sight. They own it free of liability. They own that they are not like you and me. Their influence dictates legality, and until they are stopped, we are not free. We'll occupy the streets, we'll occupy the courts, We'll occupy the offices of you till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. You enforce your monopolies with guns while sacrificing our daughters and sons. But certain things belong to everyone. Your thievery has left the people none. So take heed of our notice to redress. We had little to lose, we must confess. Your empty words do leave us unimpressed. A growing number join us in protest. We occupy the streets, we occupy the court, we occupy the offices of you till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. You can't divide us into sides, and from our gaze you cannot hide. Denial serves to amplify, and our allegiance you can't buy. Our government is not for sale. The banks do not deserve a bail. We will not reward those who fail. We will not move till we prevail. We'll occupy the streets, we'll occupy the court, we'll occupy the offices of you till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. We'll occupy the streets, we'll occupy the court, we'll occupy the offices of you till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. We are the many, you are the few.